And now it's time for the Ridiculist.
What kinds of things make people piss?
And how many suitors exactly has she dismissed?
Siri, what are some locations for a lover's tryst?
Oh, darling, surely there must be a list.
A list? You're telling me it's all here on this bleeding list? That's preposterous and ludicrous.
Well, actually, it's all quite
Ridiculist, ridiculist, ridic. You
Welcome to the Ridiculist. I'm Sally Brooks.
And I'm Jen O'Neill, and we're back with more fun lists for you. We promised we'd be back, and here we are.
Look at us,
Making
keeping our promises.
good on our promise. How are you?
We took a nice little holiday break, and I'm good. How was your Thanksgiving? How was your new December? It feels like this time of year, I feel like from Thanksgiving through New Year's is just like a race. Like it's like a downhill like slide of like, I don't even know where the time goes. Like everything feels like it goes so fast and overwhelming, but yeah.
It's just one big to-do list and checking off one thing after another. And then like I even have to schedule like sleep.
Yeah.
Wake up.
Brush teeth.
Put your clothes on.
Jen, how many times have I told you, do not walk out with no clothes? Not again.
I know. I need to remind myself. I know the holidays are just so crazy and hectic, but I actually had a pretty relaxing Thanksgiving, all things considered, because, perks of divorce.
Yeah.
Only one Thanksgiving, thank you. No, it's not, like that sounds terrible because my ex-in-laws are wonderful. I'm actually, I'm good friends with my ex sister-in-law. We were friends before I even dated Zach, but it is nice to like have half the day to myself.
Yeah.
And to cook in silence and then just do one meal and then that's that.
That's lovely.
It's nice.
Yeah. Another way you can do that is to just live very far away from your family and then refuse to go anywhere.
Great idea. I was just talking to somebody who was saying that their parents for Christmas said, and it was funny because it reminded me of something my son said, but they were saying, all we want for Christmas is for you to come and visit us. And it's like, can I just send you like a KitchenAid mixer? Because that's cheaper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, Sully said, my son was like, which I totally, I appreciate that this is his mindset. That's all I've ever wanted for my children. But Sully was like, all I want for Christmas this year is a trip to a city with lots of culture and history and really great museums. I was like, do you want an Xbox?
Right. Can I please?
I know. It's like, I love that he's choosing experiences over toys, or over things, but it's like, yeah, but that's like time off work, plane tickets, hotel, meals. It's like not that easy, but we're trying to figure that out right now.
Didn't we just do that? Didn't we just go to LA?
Yes. Can I retroactively give you that present?
Right?
That trip we just went on. But yeah, like
you're like, also we live in Atlanta.
Yeah.
There's museums here.
Plenty of history.
Yeah,
racist history, but it's there.
It's there. I mean, you could maybe get him a membership to the High Museum and the Civil Rights Museum and call it a day. And be like, here, it's in your names and your dad's.
Yeah, exactly. He can take you.
Oh, yeah, that's so funny. Where you're like, yes, that's all that's what you want your kids to want.
Yeah.
But then when they want it, it's
careful
like,
what you wish for. Yeah.
I know. Max keeps being like, I really want to go to New York because he was born there and we've never been back. And we're like, yeah, we want to go too, but also we're just like, like it's just
like New York in the winter.
In the winter, and then like it's hard to plan, and then it's also and New York in the summer sucks. Yeah, it's like one of those things where we're like, yes, we totally want to take you. I don't know
Mhm.
when that will happen. I don't know
Yeah.
when we're gonna do that, but yeah. Yeah, we had a nice Thanksgiving too. We actually stayed in town and we like just had Thanksgiving with our friends, Jeff and April, and like it was really, really chill. Like really chill, which was
Gotta
yeah, it was
love
great.
it.
Yeah.
If
And
when you get those chill holidays, you're like, oh, this is what it was meant for. And I finally got to experience it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like, we're always creating that for everyone else. And then it's like, when you get to have a chill holiday, you're like, oh,
Oh, I know. We didn't even
why, thank
host.
you.
Like we didn't have to clean my
Yeah,
house.
that's amazing.
So great. It was like
know.
some nice. Just take over some mac and cheese. Perfect. It was
Perfect.
great. Yeah. Well, should we get to our list, Jen?
Let's do it.
Okay. I can go first this week. I don't remember. I mean, it's been a long time since we recorded an episode.
Yeah, I doubt anybody remembers.
Who remembers? Okay, so let me just say, like, I started this week. I was like, I know you've been doing, you've been like pet sitting a lot, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll do a list of times that pets like rescued their owners or saved their owners' lives. And so I looked those up, and it turns out those are actually really depressing because they're all like, oh, this horrible thing happened and the owner was a junkie, and then the person, and it was just like very like, it was heartwarming, but also depressing.
Yeah.
So instead, and this actually came from Ben, he was like, you know what I used to love you guys did all the time was Am I the Asshole posts.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? This is a good left turn. And so I found a list from thetab.com. It was compiled by Sophia Aria, and it is the most debated Am I the Asshole Reddit posts of all time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This will be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one was titled, Am I the Asshole for Flipping Out on My Fiance for Canceling All the Vegan Food Options from Our Wedding Food Menu Behind My Back?
Yeah. No. He's the asshole. Sorry, but go on.
Yeah.
That was easy for me.
Okay, so it says the original poster was due to be married and her family were all vegan, and she wanted to add 4 to 5 vegan options to their wedding menu. Her fiance and his mother canceled all of the options behind her back, claiming that they weren't going to pay for food that wasn't real, even though the original poster is the one paying for the catering. The original poster went off at her fiance for not talking this through with her before, and even showed up at his work and shouted at him in front of his colleagues. The original poster was deemed not the asshole, but she also shared an update that her mother-in-law was sending long walls of text just to address what I did at her son's workplace, calling it all kinds of stuff from immature to unhinged. Apparently, the mother-in-law accused the original poster of being dismissive of her son's input to the wedding and claimed that the original poster's money is technically mine and his because they were getting married, which is actually an insane thing to say to your new daughter-in-law. The bummer is that there was no update about what happened after that. Because I mean, everybody, of course, wants to know, did they get married?
Oh, yeah. I mean, while I would not go to anyone's workplace and bitch them out, she is totally in the right to be upset if they did that behind her back. And like, as someone, as a mother of a vegan child, and like, my ex-husband was vegan, and I have friends that are vegan, and half my family's gluten-free. Like, you have to have, it's like the polite thing to do is to have options for you don't want anybody going hungry.
Right. And if your wedding, like your entire family is vegan, like that's not just like, we just want to have it on hand. Like you're addressing specific people's needs. I think we knew of one vegan friend who was coming to our wedding, and we had an entire, like, there was like an entire meal that we had like different stations, and we're like, an entire part of that was vegan. Like,
yeah, that's really
like,
nice and considerate.
Yeah, which I don't know. It's not hard to have vegan options, really.
It's not. And even if there were 5 options and they canceled all of them, like even if they canceled 2, like without saying anything, that's still rude as hell, but at least keep some of them on there. I think she's totally in the right, and I'm surprised that it's widely debated, to be honest.
I think it may have been like
because she went off on the guy.
Well, I think it may have been like everybody was piling up.
Oh,
maybe it wasn't debated as much.
About.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. Apparently it got like so hot against him that the moderators had to say name calling and insults, including any form of man-child, will get you a ban.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, what is that the asshole for if you can't call somebody a fucker?
But I also am like, that's such a huge red flag of somebody and like that relationship with the mother and the mother being controlling in that way.
Yeah.
Like that's not someone you want to be married to. Like
hell no.
You think that woman is gonna like that really is gonna change? Like no, she's just gonna dig her feet in if that's how she's acting at this point.
Idea of that your money is his money because you guys are gonna get married.
Well, and then that her money is the mother-in-law's money. Like,
oh my God, that's insane.
Back off.
Yeah.
Okay. So this next one is, am I the asshole for telling a cashier that wasn't the girl's credit card? Okay. The original poster of this was in fact labeled the asshole. Why? She stopped a young girl from buying a pair of expensive boots with her dad's credit card. She threatened to call the police on the girl and made her use her own card. The young girl left the store crying. While it is illegal to use somebody else's card, the commenters were absolutely enraged that the OP got involved in someone else's family business. The top comment on this post reads, "Did it ever occur to you that she was telling the truth and her dad had given her his credit card? Mind your business."
I would mind my business on that one.
Oh my God. Like how many parents give, like, unless you saw someone stealing a credit card and then trying to use it, like that's the only time. And even then I'm like, I don't know. I might say something to the cashier afterwards, but
if she did take the card and was buying stuff without her dad's permission, like let them figure that shit out.
Yes.
Like that's not for you. Yeah, that was too much.
That's too much. Like what kind of sanctimonious, like moral like code must that person have?
If I gave my child my card to go buy something and then the person, they left in tears because the person threatened to call the cops on them, I would be livid.
Oh yeah. Like, I'm like, how it happens so often. Like
I know.
I even as an adult, like as a woman in her 40s, my dad would like hand me his card and be like, okay, go get this for you. You know, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I get my own money. Okay. So this one is, am I the asshole for making a dad joke? Okay. The original poster was a stepdad to his wife's 15-year-old and had been for basically her entire life. They had an argument because she misbehaved. The original poster set up a punishment for her. She responded with, "You're not my dad. I don't have to follow you." Later that week, the whole family went grocery shopping and the daughter said, "I'm hungry." He replied with, "Hi, hungry. I'm not your dad." The daughter was very embarrassed and the OP was berated by his wife. Most people agreed that both parties sucked, but it wasn't really an earth-shattering event. The OP even shared a heartwarming update that he'd spoken to his daughter about it and told her, "I'm going to love you like my daughter, even if you don't think I'm your dad." They both ended up crying, and so did everyone reading, to be honest.
Well, good. It sounds like that one worked itself out.
Yeah.
I think they both made bad choices. You know, she was wrong for saying you're not my dad, and he was wrong for reinforcing that.
Yes, but also you're
or
like
making a joke about it. Yeah.
You know, you're the adult. So
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's a little bit of an asshole, but it's fine. Okay. Here we go. Am I the asshole for pretending to get fired when customers get a temper with me? Okay, this is actually very funny. I like.
Oh my God! I'm
I'm like, everybody should be doing that. The OP told posters how when customers were really rude to them, their group of colleagues take turns being the manager and fake firing them. Whoever is fired makes a big song and dance about having a family to feed and how losing their job will likely strike them into poverty. Then the customer always feels terrible and usually apologizes. This is a genius idea, and I'm so glad I couldn't find a single comment disagreeing. If I ever get a job in retail or hospitality again, I'll be trying this out.
I love that.
I love that so
I think
much.
it's hilarious. And I love that they do it as a team.
Right? And then like
Yeah,
take turns being like,
Yeah, that is so funny.
oh, it's so good. And then I love that it's like, then the next time the person comes back, it's like, oh, they're still here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we've both worked in enough retail places where you're like, there are just those entitled asshole people who.
Oh, I just got a barrage of text messages. This is from someone who said that they're a realtor. They wanted to see an apartment. I wasn't available at that time, but I said, but there's a group tour tomorrow at 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m. And she said, but I'm a real estate agent, and isn't there a Supra? I was like, no, there's no Supra, but I'm having a group tour tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. I never in a million years would have said 12:45 because I had another job I was doing at 12:45. Right. So then I get a text message. This happened 2 days ago. Yeah. And then I get a text message that says, hello. And I was like, hi. And she was like, I'm here for our tour. And I was like, and this is a series of some words all capital and some not.
Oh,
so
I was imagining
really
it all
the
capital.
energy and effort into like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, hi, I'm sorry. Like, I don't have any tours scheduled for 12:45. Could you tell me what property you're at? And she's like, we most certainly did, all caps, have an appointment. And I was like, and she was like, you told me 12:45. I'm like, I'm sorry, there's a misunderstanding, but I didn't say that the tour is at 3:30, but you're welcome to meet us at 3:30. And she was like, you absolutely did, all caps, tell me 12:45. You need to be more professional. And then she just kept going on, and I said nothing. And then I said, when I said, if you'd like to meet us at the group tour, we will be there. And she was like, I'm going to find a different unit because you need to be more professional. I'm like, who's the agent? You're a realtor? Like, you know what I mean?
I'm like, that person's not a realtor.
I know. But she kept going on, and I said nothing. And then at 3:30, when I was at the group tour, she called.
Of course.
And I answered the phone, and she hung up on me. And just for good measure, I guess. And it's just like, what? Who's not professional? Who's unprofessional?
You're like, and you're not getting this apartment.
Yes, thank you. I dodged a bullet. But also it's like, couldn't you for a second imagine a world where maybe you misunderstood? You know what I mean? And you said, oh, like maybe you could have just been like, I could have sworn you said 12:45, but okay. You know what I mean? But to say that I absolutely did.
I'm look back on my text messages or my emails.
Yeah, it was a phone conversation, but I wish I had it recorded.
Yeah.
But it was just like, it's wild to me that people get so worked up over something like that and like can't even begin to fathom that maybe they made a mistake on their end.
Yeah.
And I just know, it's funny because I'm like, can't you even fathom? And it's like, and I'm telling myself like, no, I know I'm right. Like the only reason I know this is because I know that I would never have said 12:45. That makes no sense in the context of what my daily schedule was.
Right. I was going to say you weren't available then. So like, why would you have ever said?
I never would have said that. Yeah. So anyway,
no, you know, it was funny. A coworker and I were talking about yesterday, like how the last couple weeks we've had just like a string of people coming in hot. Just like coming in, guns blazing, accusations, you messed this up, this is wrong. And like, I mean, like almost 100% of my like correspondence is like email or text, like is, you know, is written because I'm like, I just want to have that, like, to be able to like, no, actually, let me look back at my notes. And like, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, I'll look, I'll see. And then like, it's so satisfying when you can like send actually on this date you said this and then I said this and then I did this and this is what happened and like
The funniest part about it is
And
while
then
she was
you get no response. That's the thing. Is like nobody
Yeah.
will. They are just like crickets. Like once you're like, actually, no.
the funniest part is while she was like sending me a barrage of text messages, I was literally sitting next to my boss as these messages were popping up, and he was like, "Tell her to fuck off." And I was like, I won't do that, but you know what I mean? But it's just
But
so
I'm glad
funny. It's
you're on
like,
my side.
if you'd like to speak to my boss, you're more than welcome to, and he'll tell you to fuck off, but whatever.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I want to
it's
look this
funny.
lady up.
I know.
Because you're like,
Actually,
you just know, like, this is how she goes through her daily life. Like, this is how she lives her life.
Yeah.
Is like up at this
being
level.
upset.
And being
Mhm.
upset and being mad at everyone and believing that she is right 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Am I the asshole for suing my girlfriend after she had my 1967 Impala project taken to the scrapyard? Okay, so
Ooh.
the original poster had spent $11,000 on fixing up a 1967 Impala car that was a huge passion project, only for his girlfriend to send it all to a scrapyard behind his back because she wanted to use the garage for a parking space. The OP mentioned that he had 2.5 acres of land and a barn she could park her car in. He threatened to sue her and filed a police report for grand larceny and grand theft auto. In an amazing update, the OP revealed that he managed to track down his car to a scrapyard where he proved the car parts were his and was able to get them back. The last we heard was that the police had to hold it for evidence, but that it would soon be returned to him. Justice is served. People also agreed that it was a gross overstep on the girlfriend's part and that ending their relationship immediately was the right thing to do.
So they were together and she did this. So this was not a woman scorned. Not like that
No.
would make it okay, but wow, that is awful.
Right? Just to be like, well, I
Awful.
want to park in this garage, so I'm sending it.
Yeah.
Like, it's so
Unless
funny.
it was one of those things where it was like she was paying the whole rent or mortgage on the house, and she was like, "Can you
Yeah.
please move your car? Can you please move your car? Can you please move your car? Can you please move your car?"
Right.
And then like years went by and he didn't do anything.
Yes.
I mean, there's got to be some nuance to this, but
I'm
still
sure
wouldn't
there
have
is.
done
Yes.
that.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
can see like this being like the barn was, half a mile away and he was like, park in that barn. I want my like car parts taking up this whole thing. And she just got fed up and did it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
She could have also had it moved to the barn.
She could have had it moved to the barn.
Yeah.
Yeah. As could have he. I'm starting to see both sides to this.
Yeah.
The fact that he was like, I'm going to call the police. Like, okay. That sounds like maybe not the healthiest relationship all around.
Yeah. It sounds like they should have broken up.
It's so funny like that. I just am thinking, I'm like, I still feel bad about the time that, and Ben and I still talk about the time that like he had sorted like I think it was like either a 5,000 or 1,000 piece puzzle. Like it was like a big puzzle, and he had like
God.
sorted it all, like the corners, turned everything.
Pieces.
Yes, he had
Yeah.
turned everything right side up, and like I'm just not a puzzle person, so I didn't even know. But
I'm a puzzle person, so I'm already Team Ben on this one.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's 100.
Okay.
I mean, you should be Team Ben, but like I just didn't. It had been on the table for like a month. And I just was like, it's been taking up our dining room table for forever. He's not working on it because nothing was put together. So I just like put it all back in the box. And he was like, what the hell did you do? I spent so long. Right. And it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't like malicious.
Yeah,
It was just oh, we need to use this table.
Okay, obviously he's not using this puzzle.
Yeah, he's not using the puzzle. He hasn't done anything with it. He just dumped it all out and now it's here. And he's like, didn't you see me sorting it? And I'm like, maybe. I guess I did. Yeah. That was like 15 years ago and we still talk about it. So I'm like, I can't imagine like selling his car.
Oh my God. We're towing it, not even selling it.
Yes.
I know.
Just being like, yeah, this is junk. Okay, I will do one more. The original poster let his brother-in-law and twin daughters, both 18, move in with them after he'd lost his house in a divorce. I'm guessing the brother-in-law. But trouble soon ensued when the twins would constantly barge into his own 16-year-old daughter's room and steal things, makeup, jewelry, clothes, etc. The final straw was when they ruined his daughter's $60 MAC eyeshadow palette, which is just crazy to me that a 16-year-old has a $60 MAC eyeshadow palette when I have an eyeshadow palette from Elf that she'd been saving up to a month to buy. She was crying her eyes out, so he decided to put a lock on his daughter's door to keep her possessions safe. The entire family, including his wife, were outraged by this because every single person in the comments seemed to agree with the original poster. People wrote that the girls barging in is an invasion of his daughter's privacy, the twins were thieves, and that he should think about a divorce if his wife won't see reason. So much drama. I'm glad he stood his ground on this one.
Yeah, I think if anybody has a right to put a lock on their door if it's their bedroom and their things.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't even need a reason. Like, how everybody should have a lock on their door.
That shouldn't offend anybody in that house. Yeah, like if the twins are offended by that, then that clearly they have an issue with going into her room. Yeah, look within.
I mean, yeah, if you're mad about my lock, that's maybe you should open your own heart. So anyway, that's my list. Some good old fashioned.
Great, those are fun. I love Am I the Assholes? Because
as I was looking this up, I saw one of like the first thing that was suggested was top 10 Am I the Asshole podcasts. And I was like, holy shit, there's more than 10.
I know, because I knew there was one, and I've always been like, "Oh man, we should have done that." But it's like, but it sounds like everybody had that idea.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, my list this week, I figured since we are in the midst of the holidays, holiday season, I thought I would do kind of a holiday one. And this one is from BuzzFeed, compiled by Amy Glover, and it is people are sharing the wildest things that happened at their office Christmas party, and I'm calling HR.
Yes. I've
never had a wild office party.
Me neither. I've never worked in an office that had that was big enough to have a Christmas party or had a Christmas party. And like,
yeah, me neither.
I started working at the place I work now, like right before the pandemic, and so that was like just not a thing. And I also am just not somebody who participates at work. So
I've heard people like friends and one of my siblings, I'm not going to say which one, told me some crazy office party stuff. But I think in
corporate offices, there's like, it's like a big thing. Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole movie about office holiday party or whatever that like isn't Jason Bateman in it?
Oh, I don't know. Is there?
I think I watched it.
I feel like you would know.
Purely for the Bateman.
Purely for the Bateman.
2016 film starring Jason Bateman, Jennifer Aniston, TJ Fuckface Miller, Kate McKinnon, and Olivia Munn. Vanessa.
Okay, that does sound familiar. With where like Jennifer Aniston is like the mean boss,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the list. We'll see what people have to say.
I know. I was gonna say you and I have gone out to like holiday dinner.
Yeah, we have our own office party, which is just us going to dinner.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, guys.
We split a bottle of wine.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
We share entrees. It's great.
We do.
Very low drama.
But with no raisins in it because Sally hates raisins.
I hate raisins. No gluten.
No gluten.
Very excited.
This one says, our company directors for an estate agency bought wine for all of the tables at our party. There were a few bottles on each. Turns out they bought cheap wine for everyone else and expensive wine for their own table.
Oh, wow.
One of the directors was actually a decent bloke, and when he found out, he refused to sit at their table and made a big deal of making sure everyone knew. He then proceeded to get absolutely hammered and buy expensive wine for everyone but the other directors. That's a dick move.
That's a hugely dick move. Like that, if you want to like that just shows, I mean, that just shows your cards to your employees. It's like, you got to at least pretend. You've got to at least pretend.
I know. It's like, oh, thank you guys so much for all of your hard work, but we're going to drink good stuff over here because we're better than you.
Yeah.
It's so shitty. This one says, a colleague of mine woke up with a horse in their back garden. Turns out they were so drunk, and these are clearly all British.
Right.
turns out they were so drunk and couldn't be arsed to walk home. And they just barebacked a horse from a field while it's carrying a pizza and a kebab. Rode it back the next morning. Man's a nutter. Oh my God. That reminds me of,
That's
this
amazing.
is not an office party thing, but this was a wild wedding thing that my friend John did. My friend Jeff got married to a comedian named Heather Lawless. And it was a fun wedding because they were like, it was kind of one of those star-studded weddings because they worked in the, he does all the editing for like Michelle Gondry and whatever. So there were all these like celebrities at this wedding, and we all went to this like farm in the middle of North Carolina.
Yeah.
And my friend John brought me as his date, and we were just friends. We've always just been friends. So it was like while we were at the wedding, which got crazy because it was just a bunch of people from LA and New York and Portland and Atlanta on a farm.
Right. And they're probably all staying on this farm or staying super close or like, and just like, oh, you're completely out of your element. So it's like, it's so it license to just act crazy.
Yes. And so like we totally separated, because we were just friends and at the wedding as friends. And so I don't know what John did. He doesn't know what I did. But in the morning, I remember like in the middle of the night, I was crashing at my friend Milani and Gil's room. And they woke me up and they're like, hey, we're leaving. We have to go back to New York. But we arranged for you to stay in this room. You're going to go stay with Jim, okay? And I was like, what? Like I was so out of it. And I was like, okay. And so they like handed me my stuff. I was wearing a camisole, no bra underneath, and pajama pants.
Yeah.
They leave me to go walk to Jim's room. I'm knocking on the door and I'm like, I think I'm supposed to stay in here, Jim. And he's like hooking up with a girl.
Oh no.
And like, I'm not answering the door. And I'm just stuck in this like hotel where all of Jeff and Heather's friends and families are staying.
Oh my God.
I am wearing a white camisole, no bra. So I'm just sitting there with my arms crossed.
Yeah.
And I look a mess. And then all I could do was and John wasn't answering his phone. I didn't know where he was. He's the one that drove me to the party. My only way out of there, we drove from Atlanta.
Yeah.
And all I could do was sit in the lobby with my arms crossed and like hiding my boobs and like just wait for John. And all of a sudden I see John, like something out of a movie. He comes walking through this like open field. Just like all of a sudden I can see him just
like
walking
the mist
out
parts.
of nowhere. No car, no nothing. And he's carrying this baby doll by the leg, this like naked baby doll that I don't know where he found it. And he's just holding it by the leg. And he like walks up and I'm like, and at this point I'm sitting outside the hotel because I can't, they're all waking up now and having breakfast together. I got to get out of this hotel.
Yeah.
So I'm like standing outside of it and I see him walking up with this like baby doll thing that has like magic marker all over its face. And I think it said something like life puzzler written across the face. And he was like, sup, you ready to go? And I was like, yes! For the love of God, yes! And there was like no explanation for like, what happened to John? What happened to me?
Oh my God.
And like, I don't know, just something, I could see John riding up on a horse with
right.
pizza and a kebab.
And a baby doll and a cigarette. And
yeah, he was like, what's up?
Oh, you ready to go?
Ready to go. He didn't even ask me any questions about like, what are you doing out here? Why don't you have your clothes on?
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God. And then we went to his mom's house to go visit her. And I'm like, can I please put on some clothes first? Anyway.
You're like, I'm real cold. Just so cold. Got to keep my arms crossed.
I
so
have
cold.
no clothes. Yeah. Oh yeah, because all my luggage, they put my luggage in Jim's room.
Oh God.
And Jim was like, oh yeah, like cool. Yeah, she can come here later. And then like, he ended up like hooking up with someone.
Right.
And so I had to wait for him to wake up so I could get my stuff. It's crazy. Anyway. It just reminded me.
Amazing.
That was not an office party.
Always missing is a horse.
This one says, my manager pissed herself on the dance floor, removed her panties, and flung them at a colleague's husband. Oh my God.
No.
How do you go back to work after that?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
So the one like big office rager that I've been to, I used to work for this organization called Best Buddies, which is like started by one of the Kennedys. So so we had a all staff retreat, and it was in Miami, which is where this guy lived. His name was Anthony Kennedy Shriver. I think he's Maria Shriver's brother, maybe.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, so he lived in like this huge mansion, and then so you have like 150 like 25-year-olds who work all over the country who are being paid like $24,000 a year, but like who work for this nonprofit, but we're all in this like mansion. Like they had like huge sushi boats and like fancy alcohol, and it was at their house, and it was like on the water. It was amazing. And my one coworker, so everybody got pretty drunk because we were young and dumb, but my one coworker just was like, who was like the quietest, weirdest dude. His name was Martin. Told us all like, oh, did you guys know I'm like really good at breakdancing? And then in the middle of this party started breakdancing, like on his back, doing flips. And then later that night I was like helping him because he was puking. But it was just like the weirdest thing to like look down. All of a sudden Martin, who like never talked, was just doing the worm on the ground. Oh, that's buddy.
Wild. Yeah, like I don't want to see coworkers like wasted because I don't either. Everybody's a different person.
Yeah, I don't want people to see me that way. Like,
oh yeah, and I'm an oversharer. I'll tell you my deepest, darkest secrets when I'm drunk, and so it's like I don't want to tell everybody every last thing about me.
No, I don't want to tell people deep dark secrets and then the next day be like, oh, can we circle back around to that email?
Can you take me seriously now that after I told you I've been secretly jealous of your bangs for the last year and a half? And I've been taking pictures of you when you're not looking behind your back because I think you're so pretty.
But like,
that didn't happen. I'm just saying.
Can we coordinate on this PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah. This one says, last year, my new staff member broke my other new staff member's arm by challenging him to an arm wrestle. He snapped him like a twig.
Oh, God.
Oof. Ow.
I mean, painful, but also kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
Just like some drunk dudes being like, we have to arm wrestle.
I'll do this last one. This one says, I worked at an agency where we'd hire a new account exec to start in the new year, but invited her to the Christmas party. We booked out a bar restaurant in Chelsea, all ours, free bar, champagne, the whole shebang. She enjoyed herself right up to the point where she ventured towards the toilet downstairs in the basement. She tripped at the top of the steps, fell down the stairs, broke her leg, and shit herself on the way down. Stretched out.
And the poor woman was just like stressed and like anxious.
Like Anne from accounting. Yeah.
Like, because she was like, I'm going to a party where I don't know anybody yet because I haven't started. So she has like one glass of wine and then she has another. And then, woof.
This one says, stretchered out by London. This is the end of that one. Stretchered out by London ambulance in pungent glory through the partying throng on the ground floor. Never returned to start the job with us.
Yeah, no, you couldn't. Like, you could never go back.
Yeesh. Awful. I know.
Oh, wow. Amazing. I love
Poor
those.
woman. Yeah. So, should we get to our list?
Let's do it.
Lists of Fury. Yes.
All right. So this week, since Sally and I are stressed as fuck because it's holiday season, we thought we'd do a list of Fury and get a little anger out.
List of Fury.
Fury. This week we decided to do, and I was like, this is so not like this is not like us, because we always try to be so positive, but it's like, we decided to do, what are the top 5 most exhausting things about the holiday season? Bah humbug. So let's go off on the holidays for a bit, shall we?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, my number 5, and this is just a little one, but it is wrapping presents. And it just is like one of those tasks that is like, I feel like even thinking about it is mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
And I also am like, I always do it last minute. So it's one of those things that like I spend so much time doing to immediately be undone. And I find it to be like I want wrapped presents, and it's so nice to open presents, especially for a kid. But like also Ben likes to open presents, but I just am like, it's one of those tasks that just I hate doing. I dread it. And then it just feels so futile and wasteful.
I know. And then you're the one picking up all the paper and shoving it into a garbage bag.
Yes. But I'm like, I want to say like for like overall, like I love the holidays. I love Christmas. I like celebrating. I like traditions. I like all this stuff. I like Thanksgiving. You know, I mean, I like all this stuff, but it is like once you're a parent, even before, I think actually the holiday is probably more stressful before, but like, yeah, there's just so much to do.
Yeah. Okay, my number 5 is grocery stores are insane all month long.
Yeah.
And I feel like even without the holidays, I think it's just the way that the world is right now and the way that people are so distracted and people are so in their own little world. It's like everybody's just literally running right into each other.
Yeah.
Like, carts are banging into each other. People are staring at, like standing in front of a section for like way too long, scrolling through their phone when it's like, I just need to get the eggs, please. Yeah. And it's like, God, Trader Joe's, forget about it. But it's like everywhere, no matter what time of day during December, grocery stores are just like, it's like battlegrounds.
Yeah. That's actually my number 4 is not like, I don't
really?
I don't do grocery shopping for the most part. It's so funny because like maybe Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, we were like going over to our friend Matt and Katrina's house just to like have like easy dinner. And I was like about to text before we went over to say like, hey, do you need us to pick anything up on our way? And Ben was like, no. And I was like, what? And he was like, Sally,
that'll
cannot
take
go
an
to the grocery
hour.
store the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't really think about that. He was like, you don't know anything. Like you haven't been in the
amateur.
trenches. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, totally. Cause I don't ever, but like just the crowds at stores, like I'm already not a shopper, but like, yeah, being out at stores during the holidays I find it so stressful and just like, yeah, it's like brings out the worst in everyone, I think.
Oh yeah, people are so mean. I just saw like somebody posted something. It was a video that was going viral on Costco, and it was like first holiday meltdown at Costco, and it was a man like ramming his cart into a woman and like screaming in her face, and it was just like, relax, dude. Like nothing is that serious.
Oh my God. I went to mail some I went to go mail some books out because maybe you guys haven't heard, but I wrote a book. So yesterday, and I went to one of the little post offices by us, and the woman who worked at the post office, I have to say, I'm like, I have just admired her so much because like she was the only one working there. There was a huge line. I had a ton of stuff, and she just was so calm that it made everybody else calm. And she just said to me, like, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I have a lot of packages. She goes, it's okay. Everybody's got to know to bring their patience. It's the holiday season. And I was like, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And everybody was like, yeah, we're fine. We're patient. And I was like, oh man, like it just was so refreshing. And I was just so admired how she handled it. Cause you just think like holidays, like, post office, it's going to be a mess, but it was fine. It was fine.
Good. I like that. You have to surrender.
Yep. She was like, everybody's got to bring their patience.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my number 4 is so much drinking. It's like, even then when you want to tell yourself like, I really am going to like be smart this season and I'm not going to drink that much. I'm going to bring like non-alcoholic stuff. It's like, no matter what you do, you're going to end up drinking too much the whole month.
Yeah.
Out of stress, out of celebration, out of boredom.
Right.
Out of a Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
Out of a Tuesday night.
Yeah. So just too much drinking. you
Yeah.
know, which can be fun, but also like then it just sets you up for like being exhausted the whole next day. So
Yeah, I think I mean, I think it's like all of it, right? It's the overindulgence and everything, which is like it's like we all know what's happening, but it just is like you end up in January being like, "Oh god, I got to
yeah.
reevaluate some shit."
Yeah.
I got to fix my life. Um so my number 3 is wanting to do all of the like holiday events and not having enough time to do all the holiday events because I feel like
Mhm.
starting now, like everybody's so scheduled, there's so many things going on, and I would like to create that like magic for my son and for me and for, but it's just like it's just not, and it's not enough time. Not enough time to
I
do all the
know.
things. And if you do all the things, then you are just like running from something to the next and you're exhausted. And like it just is like it feels like so much pressure to create a magical experience. And
Yeah.
when I tell myself like no, we're not doing any of that stuff, then I feel guilty for not doing any of the stuff.
My number 3, I forgot it's the same as what you said, was basically hiding and wrapping gifts. So it's like the wrapping of the gifts and finding the time to do it when you are free and no one's in the house.
Yes.
And then hiding everything. And then I forget, like as packages arrive every single day, like, then you have to grab the package and hide it, and I'll like shove it into this closet or under the
Yeah.
bed. God, it just reminded me. I shoved something under the bed the other day, and I have no idea what it is. I'm like, okay, now I gotta go look. But it's like, but remembering like where you put everything, and
Yeah.
it's so much to keep track of.
I know.
Yeah.
Max, like in July, was playing hide and seek and with a friend, and they found like a bag that we had just put under the bed with like presents for him from Christmas that we had just. I mean, it was like little things, but
Just
we are just
forgot.
like, yeah, we just forgot. It was like stocking stuffers, and we're like, oh, he's like, what's this? We're like, Merry Christmas, I guess. My number 2 and we actually don't do this anymore, but we spent, and this is kind of what you were saying with Thanksgiving, like we spent our entire married lives until like last year traveling over the holidays. And like when we lived close to my family, like my parents were divorced, and so trying to like see every single like permutation of family and all over like 2-day period was so much. And it like just even like traveling over the holiday, I mean, it just was so much. And that I am so glad that like we kind of were like we can see people other times of the year, like we're just gonna stay home. Yeah. And so like Ben's parents will come to us, but we kind of got to the point where like you can come to us if you want. But
yeah, we're staying right here.
Yeah.
That's funny because it never even crossed my mind until you just said that like my kids will have to feel obligated. So like I want to make sure that like, me and their dad and his girlfriend, who they'll probably end up getting married, I don't know. But that we all like stay cool to where like it would be nice for us all to be able to have the same dinner. So that my kids don't feel like they have to run to every single person's. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, it's something to keep in mind for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's even, like it happens like when you have in-laws, right? When you get married and you're like going to like, like you want to see your husband's family and then your family. And then maybe what if their parents are divorced? Then it's like 3 family, it just is a lot. Yeah. You feel very split, but
it's so much.
Yeah.
So that's actually kind of like what my number 2 is. My number 2 is trying to fulfill everyone else's traditions. It's like, now I don't experience this nearly as much, but when I was married, it was like, it's like his mom has traditions that she wants to like have for every Christmas. And then his extended family had traditions that they did together that they valued their traditions, and it was like we have to fulfill every single person's. And then it's like I used to have like my family, the Faveras, like we had a tradition, like we always do Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And we would do we do our Italian thing on Christmas Eve, but then we had this tradition where it was like we would all stay afterwards and we'd all watch, like me and a few of the older people would like, and we would stay and watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and then afterwards, and then it was like, you can't leave, it's our tradition, you know. Right. And so it's like all these traditions, you want to fulfill them for everyone, but it's just, and then we have our tradition of like the cookies and the whatever before, you know, and like reading these 2 books before bed, and it's just like, it's so hard to do it for everyone and to keep up with all these like things we have to do every year, or Christmas doesn't count. You know what I mean? Or it didn't happen. It's just so hard. Yeah.
And it's hard because it's like, I do want to do those things. Like it is important to have traditions and to like do those things, but it is just also like, at some point you have to be like, is this more stressful than joyful? And is it worth doing all of it? And is it worth like how important is it to me? Like, can I miss it this year? They'll be okay. Yeah, that's a good one. So my number one is, I think the most stressful thing is just like that, because of all the time, and because I do love the holidays. It's like, but also like work. That is what is the most stressful. It's like, it's not enough time. And then even if you're off work, like when you come back, it's like you never have a break. I just need it to be like, I need it to be a month off is what I need.
Yeah, I know.
I need to be a month off, and then I need nobody else to be working, so that when I come back, there's not just like a pile of shit.
Yeah.
So I think that everything should be
canceled.
And
then you have to take all the stuff down. All this, I know, it's hard.
And then you got to get back in shape. You got to reassert, you got to rededicate yourself to the gym.
And you got to get ready for Q1.
I'm always getting ready for Q1. I don't even know when Q1 is.
I think it's January.
I mean, that would make sense, but
but I'm not. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. I do have some friends that are. We're like, my friends from college are all like, for the most part, very like, just high achieving, very like high level corporate people, and so we're trying to like get together over the summer. And I was talking to my friend Hadley, and she's like, oh yeah, Bethany she's not going to be able to come at Q2. That's some like Q2 is that's a crazy time for her. And I'm like, oh yeah, totally. So when's that? When's Q2?
I don't really deal with like cues in any of my lines of work, but I just I had an ex-boss one time be like, that ended in Q1, and I was like, what is Q1? And I was like, oh, January. Got it. Or the fiscal year. The fiscal year.
It's different. Sometimes it ends in October.
It's weird. Just making up your own years. Anyway, my number one most, and I'm feeling it so hard right now, the most exhausting thing about the holidays is the expense of it all. Like, I'm just working so hard to like pay for all the holiday stuff, because also my daughter's birthday is December 27th.
Right.
And then it's a tradition that I took my son on a mother-son trip when he turned 12. So now I have to take Louise on her trip when she's turning 12 this year. So it's like,
oh, wow,
I gotta pay
she's
for Christmas.
12? That's unacceptable.
Yeah. I gotta pay for Christmas. I gotta pay for all these trips.
Yeah. Now I've got
Sully
trips
needs braces. Ruth needs to go to the vet. Like, it's like every time I turn around, it's a new expense. And it's just like, I am just working as much as I can. I'm working like 10 jobs.
Yeah.
I'm dog sitting. I'm like doing all this stuff. And I'm just so like exhausted. And then also Louise has got her dance recital this month and then her birthday party. And then all these so it's just like, I'm just like trying so hard to work to afford everything, but then falling behind on the actual celebrations because it's like,
because you're
I have
working
to
so much.
work.
Yeah.
So it's exhausting. And then it's like, what do we do all of this for?
Oh,
Like,
that is the thing that is like the hardest I find is like the existential crisis of it all, of like, what is this for?
Right.
Who is this for? Like, who's enjoying this? Like, is anybody enjoying this? And how can we change it so that we're enjoying it? And it's not like you're working a million hours to like pay for things and then not getting to enjoy it. And then, like, what's the
like,
point?
I know I'm going to probably get some shit from my family for bringing this up, but like for instance, all of the cousins, like not cousins, meaning all of my nieces and nephews and children or whatever, they're all at the age now where they don't want toys, they want money. So we're literally taking money out of the ATM to shuffle it around. We all have 2 kids, you know what I mean? Or like my sister has 3, but it's like we're just taking money out of the ATM and then being like, here's your money and your money and your money and your money and now your money. And it's like, why are we like it just doesn't make any sense. All in the name of that, like, we're supposed to because it's Christmas. And it's like, well, how about, we each, like, I don't know. I'm the Christmas killer by being like, how about everybody does a Secret Santa? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Like, everybody gets one person, one gift. Like, all the kids give one gift.
But last year it was every single kid wanted a Robux gift card, and so I went and bought a Robux, or is that what it's called? Roblox.
It is Robux. Yeah, I don't know.
And then I just went to my Christmas with a pocket full of Robux gift cards, and I was like, here's your card, here's your card, here's your card, here's your card. And then they're giving my kids going, here's your card, here's your card. It's like, how absurd is this?
Yeah.
It's so bizarre, but we're doing it all in the name of tradition and Christmas.
Yeah.
Which feels so yucky. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, no,
the kids
I'm
like
with
it.
you. But they probably are, I mean, they might like it, but it's not like it like feeds their soul. They're just like, oh, cool.
Like, one of my nephews is going to listen to this podcast and be like, I knew she was the bitch that ruined Christmas.
This is why now we have to
It was Aunt Jenny the whole time.
It was Aunt Jenny who was like, how about we do homemade gifts?
I know. How about we all go around the room and say what we love best about each other, and that's present enough.
And that is your gift. Well, I hope this was cathartic for everybody. I think it was cathartic for us. You guys, we want to hear, what do you hate about the holidays? And then next week we'll do something more positive.
Yeah, well, next week we'll do positive, but this week we just gotta get it out.
Gotta get it out. And also just in that, like, gotta get it out. We're so busy, it's stressful. Like, we are gonna do this episode and then one more episode before, and that'll be our last episode before the end of the year. So we're just gonna do
Q4.
In Q4, we're gonna close out Q4 early, and we're gonna start Q1 strong. And maybe we'll see. But anyway, we want to hear from you guys. What are you guys stressed about this holiday? Let's see if we can come up with some solutions for each other. Like, don't do it.
Yeah, just don't.
Just don't. Opt out.
That just reminds me of my ex-husband texted me the other day. My brother was like texting us both a bunch of stuff about what he thought we should buy the kids for Christmas. And my ex-husband texted me and said, I don't have time to talk to Bobby about this right now. I was like, don't. That's all I wrote back. I was just like, don't. And why are you texting me?
Why am I going to fix this?
I didn't do it. So that's great advice all around. Just don't.
Just don't.
Let's just don't.
How about not? But you guys should do is get in touch with us. You can find us on the internets. We're on social media. You could rate and review. You could tell a friend. We would love that.
We would love that. Thank you guys so much. We hope that this was therapeutic, like Sally said. And sorry if we ruined your Christmas. But thank you guys so much for listening. And we'll be back next week on The Ridiculist.
Ridiculist, ridiculist, You